Hey guys, this is Chase with iDub Hockey, hanging out with Matthew Desjardins at your headquarters here in Bauer. This is the brand category manager of Protective. We have your three families of Protective in front of us. Before we start talking about new technologies that we're going to find in the 1X Lite and the two inlines, how would you describe the differences in fit profile between the three?
So at Bauer, we have basically three families of product: the Nexus, the Supreme, and the Vapor. Starting with the Nexus is our classic fit, a bit more volume fit. Supreme is our anatomical fit, so closer to your body. And Vapor is our tapered fit, which is basically a mix of the two. So if you take, for example, the shin guard, we'll get a bigger kneecap, but tapering down towards the ankle. So this is what we call our tapered fit.
Kind of like a hybrid fit almost.
Yeah, something in between Supreme and Nexus.
All right. Well, what was kind of the goal this year for each category, like mobility, weight, and?
So this year we're introducing two line of product, the Nexus and the Vapor. Starting with the Nexus, our goal was to get to this classic fit, focusing on instant gratification, so great fit off the shelf. But for the player looking for full coverage, so bigger cap, full coverage, extra protection, and key area. And with the Vapor line, basically our goal was to bring the lightest protective gear on the market for the player looking for this next level of product.
And then even though it's carrying over this year, what was the goal of the 1S line?
So last year, Supreme, or when we've introduced Supreme last year, our goal was really to focus on mobility. So for the player looking for, again, this anatomical fit, but full mobility with key feature and enhanced mobility.
And so let's start with your 1X Lite. It sounds like you took a lot of weight out of an already lightweight product. It's really incredible the first time you pick it up. How were you able to accomplish that?
With the 1X Lite, as I mentioned before, our goal was to create the lightest product on the market. So this line actually is 20% lighter than the previous 1X Lite, which was already one of the lightest line on the market. So we're introducing the new Hyperlite foam caps. So we're using caps on the shoulder cap, inside the shin guard liner, and on the elbow cap. So Hyperlite was a foam that we've completely developed in our Blainville facility. So it's not something we took off the shelf in Asia. The compound was developed and engineered in our Blainville facility.
And also see a lot of Hyperlite, Hyperlite HD. I like it because it keeps the pad lightweight all game long. How does that kind of work?
So Hyperlite and Hyperlite HD, it's a closed cell foam that won't absorb sweat. So we're using Hyperlite foam for body coverage. It's still mobile, super lightweight. And combining it with Hyperlite HD, which is higher density compound of the same foam, and the key area. So on the sternum for the shoulder pad, you'll see it on the spine, on the back rib area, as well as on the elbow cap, bicep guard.
And then last but not least, Curv Composite. We see it in all three pieces of your shin, shoulder, elbows here. What is it, and then how does that help the player?
So basically, Curv Composite that we've used in skate is we're able to replace all plastic insert that you usually see on traditional product. We're able to use a thinner layer of plastic. It allows us to give the same level of protection as thicker plastic, but in a lighter weight package.
And of course, it looks pretty sweet too.
Looks pretty good, yeah.
And then moving on to your Nexus line, we talked about maximum coverage and protection. What are a couple key technologies we're going to find throughout the line?
So when you start with the Nexus line, first as I mentioned, it's our full coverage line, so slightly bigger cap on the shin guard, full volume shin cap with a bigger kneecap, but the protection starts from the IX foam technology. So this is something we took from our helmet research. IX foam, we're using it in our new React helmet. So it absorbs a lot of energy. So we're using it in key area of the knee donut, underneath the cap, and inside the elbow donut on the elbow pad. Aside from that, we're using MDP protection. So MDP protection is a multi-density protection system that we're using on sternum, but also on your spine. So it gives you a nice protection level without increasing too much the weight, but giving this extra protection that you need.
Okay, and we've talked about how it's the coverage pad, but it looks like it's extremely mobile and a little bit customizable too. How are you guys able to achieve that?
So our goal was really to create a super comfortable pad for the player looking for the full coverage. And of course, when you create more coverage, you need to compensate by a bit more mobility. Otherwise, it becomes a bulky pad. So you'll get the adjustable shoulder cap, the independent shoulder motion. So it's a fully independent base layer on the elbow pad for full mobility.
And then lastly, it looks like we have a new strapping system on both the shin guard and the elbow pad. What's going on there?
So we're using the Ventaprene strapping system, which is a ventilated strap, allowing for a super comfy pad without sacrificing on breathability. So it's a very comfortable strapping system.
Awesome. Well, hey, Matthew, thank you very much for having us out here. And then for you guys at home, want to check out more of this new Bauer gear, make sure you go to inlineandicewarehouse.com.